It's a non-invasive modality where I work with your pressure points. So the
Okay.
difference is it's not like you're holding something
Mhm.
and I'm telling you what's wrong. You actually allow your body, because the GSR machine is energy, the vial is energy, and your energy, it 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 allows the body to recalibrate, to recognize what your body is intolerant to, and then to receive it.
Welcome, everyone, to the Skin Deep podcast by Everbella. This is your go to source for everything skin health and self care, especially when it comes to eczema, dermatitis, and other skin conditions. I'm your host, Mekisha Banks, and I have an amazing guest with me today. Her name is Lisa, and she's from Inner Force Wellness Clinic. She's a holistic nutritionist and a BIE practitioner. I'm really excited to hear about this. Lisa, tell me about your journey and how you got into the industry. I'm really excited about our conversation.
Well, hello, Makisha. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It's really my honor to be here with you. So I'm a local. I'm here in Vaughan, Ontario, close to you. I'm married for 22 years with three children, and I have a golden doodle. I was a stay-at-home mom for 16 years, and in 2019 I decided to go back to school once we discovered that my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer the same year. That was February. Rewind in 1990, my father was diagnosed with colorectal cancer.
Oh no.
So the whole kind of wellness was in our, was kind of in our lifestyle from when my father was diagnosed. But when my mother was diagnosed in 2019, it's like something woke the dragon. I was always talking about nutrition and always talking about wellness and trying to do, these holistic remedies. But
Mm-hmm.
I said to my husband when my mom got sick, I said, I think I need to go to school and be certified. And so right away, we signed up and I applied to IHN, which is the Institute of Holistic Nutrition in Mississauga.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, in September of 2019, it was in class, so you were actually going in person, and I was
Yeah.
part time because I had three children at the time that still needed me and still do need me. I still consider myself a full time mom. I
Mm-hmm.
graduated in 2021. And it's been an amazing experience. I love my job every day. So I'm a certified holistic nutritionist, and also I have a modality called BIE.
Yeah.
BIE stands for bioenergetic intolerance elimination. And what that means is I simply work with your energy. It's a form of kinesiology. So I muscle test. It could be anything, a hormone, food, a supplement. It could be a vitamin. It could be an enzyme. I'll put it against your arm. If your fingers stay closed, it means your body recognizes it. If your fingers open, it means your body doesn't recognize it. And so at that point, I'll imprint it. I'll put the vials on what's called the GSR machine. And there is where you electromagnetically receive the frequencies to be imprinted back into your body. So, what does this all mean?
Yeah.
What this means is at some point in your life, something stressful or something traumatic happened. So, it could be you're getting ready for this podcast and maybe there was some technical difficulties, and you've always eaten an apple, and you ate this apple, and at that point, because you were having some technical difficulties, your body kind of went into like a stress, like a sympathetic mode. So
Yeah.
it blocked the energy of the apple in the sense that it's like, oh, this is dangerous. I can't have this apple. So your body thinking that it's dangerous could cause symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
meaning you could have a headache, you could have a skin rash, you can have a stomach ache, you can feel nauseous. So it's my job to find the culprits that are causing that symptom and then reintroduce it. So as your body's blocked, because our whole body is based on energy,
Yeah.
everything's energy, movement is energy. If it's blocked, it's my job to unblock it so that your body recalibrates and comes back to balance.
That is so
So
fascinating. Like
it's so
I'm
fascinating.
obsessed with that because I'm already a person that's very
Amazing.
spiritual and I'm into, energy work. I do sound healing
Mhm.
and I love everything that has to do with energy. So
Yes,
it's such a funny thing that people are like, oh, it's all woo woo. And it's like, no, it's proven
I
now.
know.
It's
I
proven
know.
now that energy
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
really a major thing and factor in
Yes.
terms of the traumas and the disorders and diseases and discomforts that we kind of live with, right? And I never realized that a lot of people almost take that part, completely push it to the side. They're like, nope, that's not even a factor. There has to
Yeah.
be completely something else
Yeah.
that's making my skin have this reaction, or I am, have an intolerance to a certain food and so forth. And they don't think that, no, sometimes your body just says, no, I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
So I'll
Yeah.
give you an example. I used to
Tell
eat
me.
peanut butter all the time when I was younger. All of a sudden now I cannot eat peanut butter, and I know it has something to do with what happened, like a trauma or something like that when I was younger, and now I can't eat it anymore. So I completely agree with what you're talking about in terms of like your
Mhm.
body somehow is blocking it and not allowing you to eat it, because
Yeah.
I can even eat certain little pieces that like a small amount. I'm like, oh, that tastes pretty decent, and then after I'm like, oh, I can feel something going on in there, and then I'll stop eating it. So
Yeah.
yeah, isn't
Yeah.
that correct? That's what happens.
Well, you'll need to come visit me.
Yeah. Oh, I already know I am. I already know I'm coming
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
visit you because I
Yeah.
need to really understand, how this works and like what
Yeah.
kind of things kind of, are blocking my body and so
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah.
Now, do you find like how did you find this modality to begin with, actually?
Yeah, so when I graduated in 2021,
Hmm.
I wasn't as busy as I wanted to be as a nutritionist.
Hmm.
So I wanted to be mentored by a more experienced nutritionist. So I reached out to Silvana Fazzolati, who's out in Oakville.
Okay.
And she has the BIE clinic there in Oakville with her husband, Rob Tomlinson. It's a very successful clinic. They've been around for over 30 years.
Oh, wow.
But they created this modality. So when I asked her to mentor me, it just happened. BIE just kind of
Yeah.
came to be. Like it was the perfect fit.
Hmm.
Um, and so they created this modality over 20 years ago.
Hmm.
There's 150 practitioners across North America, and I'm the only one here in Vaughan.
Oh my God.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's patent, so you have to, I do have to pay a licensing fee every year. Like
Hmm.
it's very, there are regulations.
Yeah.
I I'm regulated, so I'm a registered BIE practitioner. So
Hmm.
I can't, I don't say patients. I say, nutritionists, we are to say that we have clients. So I
Hmm.
don't cure, diagnose, or treat. I
Yeah.
simply work with your stressors.
Hmm.
So when people say I need to book, I need to book a treatment, I can't. We don't say treatment. We say sessions.
Got it. And you
Yeah.
know what? It's crazy because I feel like sooner or later they're going to have to change that. And the reason why is because we're doing more work through the things that we're doing and helping people heal versus the traditional way. And they get to say we get to do this, 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 and this, and there's no red tape around it. But then when it's
Yeah.
us, it's like, oh no, you're not allowed. But you're like, but I have
Mhm.
more success rates than you do.
Yeah. You know,
It's frustrating, but I understand it. That's the way it
yeah.
is, and we just got to live with it for
Um,
temporarily. But you know,
well, in nutrition school, the great thing that we learned was you are able to heal yourself.
yes,
It's you. You have the power. So Rob, he's also a mentor of mine. Rob would say, I have good news and I
hmm,
have bad news. The good news is your health is in your hands. The bad news is your health is in your hands.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it really is,
yeah,
your health is really in your hands. It's really up to you because, I named my business Inner Force, but really the force
hmm.
is in you.
It's so
It's in
true.
you to make these changes, right? Yeah, so it's very interesting to meet new clients and introduce them to my protocol. So every individual will be different. So you,
Hmm.
Makisha, will be different from Maria, from Susan. Even though all three of you have eczema, I still
Hmm.
have to treat your root cause. I have to
Yeah,
understand where it's all coming from because your environment and Maria's environment, is very different from each other. So
Mm-hmm.
I had IBS because I mourned my father, right? So IBS comes from emotions, from trauma,
Mm-hmm.
but another person having IBS or experiences IBS may have another situation, might be from their exams,
Mm-hmm.
might be,
Yeah.
what's going on in school, right?
Yeah.
So everybody has to be treated differently. It's
Mm-hmm.
very important, because that's what the initial visit's all about, is just kind of getting to the root cause. But at the end of the day, I still do believe that food plays a huge role,
Mm-hmm.
as one of the foundations to feeling better.
Absolutely. And I think that's what gets me very excited about where we are in life right now across the board in terms of like all throughout the whole world is that we are really focusing on better nutrition now. Back before what 15, 20 years ago, it was the craze of the food and going to the groceries, buying the easy quick food meals and so forth. And no one really knew what was going on and what was going to happen to us, right? But
Yeah,
now when we're looking at the day and age we live in now, everyone's just like, hold on. Like,
yeah,
what is going on with me? What are you talking about? I have,
yeah,
IBS or SIBO or any of those things. And it's because we're paying more attention to the food that we're consuming. Don't get me wrong, there's still quite a bit pushing that factor of like, we need people to still continue to eat processed food. But there's a lot of people that are coming back and saying, no, we need to actually look at our food content and make it
yeah,
better because unfortunately, we're having a lot of different diagnosed issues that are stemming from the root cause of our nutrition. And, when I was growing up, what I got really frustrated with, and again, it's just because it wasn't probably invented at that time or was invented but not really talked about, were nutritionists. We only talked to a nutritionist if we're going to the gym and we're trying to pack on some muscles, right? We never spoke
yeah,
to a nutritionist from a doctor. They didn't say,
yeah,
hey, you need to go and see a nutritionist. It was more like, here's your prescription. Next, here's your prescription. Next. And now it's like, I've been talking to a lot of clients at the clinic that I work at, and I'm like, listen, I can't fix your skin with a microneedling. It's not going to happen. I can't fix your skin with a microdermabrasion. You need to fix inside. What's going on
yeah,
inside needs to be
yeah,
addressed first because it's excreting onto your face, and I can't do anything. I can give you 50
yeah,
million
yeah,
microdermabrasions, but if you're still having that heat in the body, it's going to show up on your face. So I think now
yeah,
people are really making that turn towards naturopath nutritionists and
yeah,
getting better advice of how to fix their internal world
yeah,
versus just focusing on the external world, which it's still kind of popularized still, but they're fixing
yeah.
it. So yeah.
But it's funny that you said that, because we all work together. Like, we as
Yes.
practitioners all work together. So, the esthetician, the skin therapist
Mhm.
works with the nutritionist,
Yes.
the naturopathic doctor. We all complement each other.
Yeah.
Really, if you're seeing skin issues, well, we have to address the gut, right?
Yes.
Your gut is your second brain. Your
Yes.
gut shares the vagus nerve with your brain, and it
Yes.
sends all these signals to all the different parts of your system, and it will cause an imbalance to your hormones. It
Yeah.
will cause an imbalance to your nervous system. It will cause constipation. It will cause skin disorders.
Mhm.
It will cause anxiousness. It will cause insomnia.
Mhm.
PCOS. It will cause lots of things. But when you think about skin conditions, because I know this is your niche. This is what you're really important about. You're focusing on. It's emotionally, it's very, it's frustrating, it's
Mhm.
debilitating, it causes insecurity,
Yeah.
and I love, especially when I see teenagers coming to see me,
Yeah.
and they're like, it's my prom, it's my quinceañera, it's my grad, I have a function coming up. Like, how can we do this? And they're ready and they're listening. And I've taught them that it's not, yes, it's about the food as well, like, the major thing, but how about what you're putting on your body?
Yes. Yes.
Right? How about using the Yuka app or the Think Dirty app and
Yeah.
scanning it? I have 3 children.
Mhm.
My girls, obviously, they go to Sephora. They'll go to Shoppers. I'll say to them, make sure that you're scanning it. Check to see how clean it is.
Yeah.
You know,
My daughter
everything
just
that you,
discovered a bag of chips that she's been eating all the time. And I've been telling her, I'm like, listen, I think that's garbage. I need you to stop
yeah,
eating it. She wasn't,
yeah,
eating it for a while. And then I guess one of her
yeah.
girlfriends went to the store with her after school and picked it up. My daughter brings it home. And then I guess she discovered the Yuka app. She scans it and she goes, Mom, it had a number of 9 out of 100. And I'm like, remember what
Oh,
I told you? And
no,
she's
I
like,
know, but
I
it
was
makes you so
like,
proud. Sometimes you think that they're not listening, but they're listening. I
yeah,
know they are. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like, but thinking about like think about what goes on our body gets
Yes.
absorbed into your body.
Mm-hmm.
So it does cause havoc to your hormones.
Yes. Yes.
Your skin, which is your largest organ, is the last thing, is the last symptom
Yes.
that is showing. Like think of yourself as a beautiful barrel, as a beautiful cup, right?
Yes.
Everything that every toxin that you're putting in
Mm-hmm.
your beautiful body, in your barrel, as
Mm-hmm.
it gets to the top, it starts to spill. It
Yes.
starts to overflow. The
Mm-hmm.
overflow are the symptoms, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So your skin is the last thing
Mm-hmm.
that's telling you, hey, you need to focus a little
Yeah.
bit more, on the root cause,
Mm-hmm.
which is the good flora in your gut,
Yeah. Exactly.
right? They it's such a game changer. Like I love when the clients come in for the first visit.
Mm-hmm.
It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and there's like that aha moment. The lights go on, and they're just, because I don't just teach them about food. I teach them about their lifestyle. I teach them about the products that they're buying,
Yes.
because detergents,
Oh, that's the
cream,
next one.
body cream, facial cream, the
Yeah.
makeup that they're using. Like
Mm-hmm.
this generation is using so much more makeup
Thank you.
than we have ever,
Yeah. Yeah.
than we have ever. Or cleansers. Like how about we go just simple?
Yeah.
Just simple,
And I
you
think
know?
that's why it was even. I had a client yesterday. I was doing a consultation with her, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm using about 3 different cleansers." I said, "For what? What's on your face?"
For what?
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
what's on your face? Like, I
Yeah.
use one
Yeah.
and we're done. Why do you need to use three? And I'm like,
I actually
what's
don't.
your makeup routine? Are you using layering? Are you baking? What are you doing with your makeup? And she goes, no, I keep very light makeup. And I said, well, that's the reason why you're having a bit of rosacea. That's also the reason why you're having very dry skin patches and different flaking, because you're drying out your whole sebaceous gland. There's nothing going on in there because you're like, hold on, that cleanser wasn't good enough. Let me get the next one. Oh, wait, that one's
Yeah.
not good enough. Let me get the next cleanser. Why are we having this like triple down cleanser craze right now? I don't understand. It's going too far now.
Well, it's the influencers, right? I
Oh,
just
absolutely.
I love people like you, even Joyous Health. She's an IHN alumni.
Mm-hmm.
Your products are clean, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what's so important, and that's what I love to advertise. I'm in, I share space with NatCan Integrative Wellness there on Major Mac and Weston Road, and she's got a bunch of products that she sells, and I'm happy to let my clients know about it because they're clean products.
Yeah.
They're and the nice thing about working with naturopathic doctors is that they're able to make some concoctions as well for
Mm-hmm.
skin soothing, or for instead of using Vicks Vapor Rub, they use their own, with the
Yeah,
natural herbs
yeah.
and antifungal, like, and they're
Mm-hmm.
clean natural products. So
And I
it's not so difficult to find, right? Like
yeah. It's not difficult to find. I think it's more so that because there's so much distractions and there's so much clout on so many other things, that the things that actually do matter are falling by the wayside. They're kind of
Hmm.
slipping through the cracks. And it's like that's where people are not realizing that they're not getting the things that they truly need because they're too busy looking at all the things that have so much of the attention space. And that's what's unfortunate, because I remember it used to be, no offense to Sephora. I remember when I used to go into Sephora and it was just makeup. And I'm like, that makes sense, because it's a Sephora thing. That's what they do. Once they started
Yeah.
adding all the other things, I feel like it took away that authenticity from the
Yeah.
store, where it's like,
Mhm.
okay, we're really caring, really unique products that are really good for you and so forth. I think again they're kind of trying to change that again now, but it's just like, somewhere in there they got lost. And because of that, a lot of people's skin got lost as well because they started using things that they shouldn't be using. And the people that are really good brands, you're almost only finding them sometimes at handmade markets or local. And it's like, those are the products that we do need have more shine light on because of the fact that they are good for people's skin.
Yeah.
And like you said, everything is transdermal. And a lot of these different products, whether they're detergents, fragrances, clothing, colorants in our clothing, they're, skin disruptors, right? They're literally disrupting your skin and they don't realize that it starts to break down their skin on the external
Yeah.
way. And once they start breaking down and then you have the internal thing that's going on inside, then the whole synchronization and energetic flow and chi of your body is completely off. So that's what I think people need to kind of, pay more attention to nowadays when they're shopping.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm happy that it's starting, it's becoming very, it's becoming popular now where I see like a regular product and a cleaner product right beside each other. And
Yeah.
then you have the opportunity to choose. That I
Yeah.
love very much.
Hmm.
Even like the shampoos are changing, the sunscreen is changing.
Yes.
Um, I think we still have a long way to go,
Yeah.
with regards to removing the red dye in the foods,
Thank you.
or removing like European products are so much more cleaner in
Absolutely.
comparison to North America.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's getting a little louder on social media. So even if you are, even if our children are following influencers,
Hmm.
um, the right ones are sending the right message.
That's true. I think I'm
Mhm.
still very hopeful. I'm a
I
naturally
am.
optimistic person, so I
Yeah.
feel we're still going on the right trajectory. It's just that
Yeah.
we all just don't stop going on the right trajectory. Don't get, distracted by all the glitz and the glam of the old brands and, stick to the new ones that are coming up and shining light on the right stuff. So.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
also had that question though, in terms of the BIE, how is
Yes.
that? I know you kind of answered this, but I definitely want to have make sure people really understand how is that different than all the other modalities of energy healing work? What makes that specifically help people in terms of making better decisions? Like, how does that change from different modalities?
Oh, well,
Stumped, yeah.
you stung me from different modal. Well, it depends. I mean, in what kind of energy are we talking about? Like, you're talking about like homeopathic? Are you talking about Reiki, or what
Yeah,
kind of?
because those are all considered like energy work, right? So what I'm understanding is that BIE really works on that energetic flow. So when we're looking at the other modalities such as Reiki and so forth, how would someone want to use this a little bit more than the others? Do you find people are looking at it just because they want to know specifically different ingredients?
No, no. So we're very different. It's almost a form of, it's a non-invasive modality where I work with your pressure points. So the
Okay.
difference is it's not like you're holding something
Hmm.
and I'm telling you what's wrong. You're holding something, I'm telling you what your body is intolerant to,
Hmm.
and then you actually allow your body, because the GSR machine is energy, the f- the vial is energy, and your energy, it allows the body to recalibrate, to recognize what your body is intolerant to, and then to receive it. So within 48 hours your body is recalibrating and recognizing it so that it can go back to balance. So just a list, just some of the symptoms, or the culprits that I work with would be adrenal fatigue, constipation, skin issues,
Okay.
hormone issues, menopausal issues, weight issues, thyroid issues. So again, I don't cure, diagnose, or treat, but I'll work with the culprits.
So, when you were just talking about adrenal imbalances, can you explain a little bit more about that and how that looks like when someone has
Oh,
adrenal imbalances?
just a few very easy. kind of symptoms would be just being tired,
Hmm.
being tired when you wake up in the morning, not having a full night's sleep,
Yes.
um, feeling anxious like you've ran a marathon but you didn't move,
Hmm.
you know, um, being short of breath. Like lots of things can be mistaken, for adrenal fatigue.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, like it's our life is very hectic. Our life is very busy. We put a lot on our plate.
Yes.
And it's not just women anymore. It's not just men anymore. It's
Yes.
both.
Yes.
It's caregivers,
Hmm.
it's parents, it's guardians, it's friends, it's siblings, it's bosses, it's employees, it's
Hmm.
students, their children. It is a totally different world. The symptoms are there. They can be mistaken for other things,
Hmm.
but what I love is I can work with five symptoms at once. I can work with hormones and adrenals like cortisol, epinephrine. I can work with brain waves, neurotransmitters. There are all these cool vials that I have. And if when I muscle test you, if your finger's open, that's when I know that there's something that your body doesn't recognize, that's imbalanced,
Okay.
that needs it back.
Hmm.
So it's just so exciting. It's so exciting because every time you come, so every session it's 2 weeks apart. So
Hmm.
every time you come, you're symptom less.
Yeah, I was going to ask
You
that.
know?
Like, how does that treatment session ideally look like from start to beginning? How do we have to come in repeatedly? Is it just a one and done? Like, how does that whole process look like?
Yeah, so the initial visit is between an hour and a half to 2 hours. I
Hmm.
get to know all about you. I understand all about you.
Hmm.
Um, we talk about your root causes. We go through recipes, and I kind of, teach you about a reboot. So my type of way of lifestyle that you should be thriving on.
Hmm.
And then you always end with the BIE session. Then I'll see you in 2 weeks
Okay.
from the first. So
Hmm.
everybody's different. It's normally between 4 and 6 sessions,
Okay.
and the follow-ups they range. It's up to you. They're normally a half an hour, could be 45 minutes, it could be an hour.
Hmm.
So after the sixth session, you should be very good. If somebody has more of a chronic condition, if we feel that we need a little bit more work, it could be 10 sessions.
Hmm.
But everybody's different. And yeah, it's quite it's so your challenges are my challenges, and your
Yeah.
success is my success.
Yeah. Of
So
course.
I take it, I can't stop thinking about you. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, like you'll always be on my mind. I look forward to the next session because I want to hear, no, my headaches are gone. No,
Yeah.
my sessions, my seasonal allergies are, I don't have them. I don't
Hmm.
feel them. It's you, your body is is getting back into balance.
Hmm.
Seasonal allergies right now are lots of fun. Oh, my throat is scratchy, my nose is
Yeah.
running, my eyes are watery, and don't forget that sometimes with seasonal allergies, you do have skin conditions.
Oh yeah.
You do
Oh,
have skin
most of the time
conditions,
they're
right?
just like interconnected. You're like sneeze, scratch, scream,
Yeah,
and scratch together.
yeah,
But
yeah.
now my question regarding that though is when you do that BI session and you realize, okay, for example, I can't eat carrots, right? And then we identify that there's something going on there and we recalibrate the body to it. Does that mean instantly they're able to start eating it, or how do we kind of transition them back to interacting that food back into their lifestyle?
So first, I'll muscle test to see if carrots are indeed the actual culprit.
Hmm.
If it is the culprit, of course, it gets put onto the GSR machine. I work with your pressure points, and you have to wait two days, 48 hours. So today
Okay.
is Tuesday. So
Yeah.
Thursday, you'll be able to try. Now, if it's anaphylactic, remember,
Hmm.
I don't cure, diagnose, or treat. If it's
Yeah.
an anaphylactic allergy,
Yeah.
that's something that you'll have to work with, your physician. I
Hmm.
simply work with stressors, right? I don't,
Yes.
I'll never diagnose you. I don't treat you, right? So,
Mhm.
but it's a histamine issue,
Yes.
right? And again, it's something that you have to address the root cause in order for things to improve.
Hmm.
Right. So
So
yeah,
in
no,
terms
carrots. Carrots are fun. Carrots,
yeah.
and remember, fruits and vegetables
Hmm.
are part of seasonal allergies. Right.
Yes.
Don't forget that your fruit trees, or anything with a flower for that matter, does have is part of seasonal allergies
Hmm.
all the way to September, October, especially
Yeah.
with our El Nino weather.
Yeah.
It's so it lasts longer, it starts earlier, like it's
Yes.
just crazy, crazy, crazy weather that your body's reacting to. But it's definitely a histamine issue.
Hmm.
Um,
And how do you work with
that's
someone that has those histamine issues?
Yeah, so I have these really cool vials that I have an abundance of vials. There's so many vials.
Yes.
And
I'm
it's
hearing
all
miles, and I'm like, I feel
specific.
like, Harry Potter all of a sudden. I'm like, ooh,
Yeah, no, no,
miles now.
I know. It's quite fun. It's quite fun. But
Yeah.
there's plant and pollen vials, there's ragweed vials,
Yes.
there's weed vials, there's grass vials, there's indoor and outdoor mold vials,
Mhm.
there's black mold vials, um, there's particular skin vials,
Okay.
the whole like for of the whole all kinds of vials actually for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
skin. Yeah. Did you want to see what it looks like?
Yeah, of course. I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so for example, how do you help people with histamine using those files? Or like what's that process look like? I'm trying to wrap my brain around and help everyone else kind of picture what you're doing when it comes to histamine. So go ahead. Yeah.
Well, again, I have to know first. I have to based on muscle testing, right? It's a form of kinesiology, right? So this is
Okay.
all science. So
Okay.
again, whatever goes on, whatever is against your arm,
Yes.
I'll try to pull your finger apart. If your finger opens,
Yeah.
then that's what your body's intolerant to.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because I understood the part when it came to the food. So you're muscle testing with the food.
Anything,
But
your
then now when it
hormones,
comes
your
to,
adrenals,
yeah,
it could be any parts of your organ,
yeah.
anything,
Got
anything.
it. Got it. Because it's such a different and unique modality that I'm just like,
Mm.
okay, let me picture how this is working. Got the food portion because I'm thinking in my head, it's like, okay, I have the physical item, I bring it in with you, and then we're testing that item, right? But then now when
Yes.
it's something that is energetically, that you're not going to be like, oh, I brought the mold in for you to test it out.
Yeah,
And it
it's
brings a
funny that
dandelion in. It's now you're having these vials that you're using, you're putting it against the skin, and that's how you're doing those testing to see how the
yeah,
body reacts to it. Am I on the right
yeah,
track?
yeah. And some people they'll bring in their prescriptions, they'll bring in their
Really?
supplements,
Yeah,
they'll
you were
bring in
mentioning
grass
before people
cuttings.
bringing their skin products.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. They'll bring in their products. Like the second visit, um, you have especially with skin issues, you must be hydrated.
Oh,
You must be
absolutely.
hydrated, right? From the
Yeah.
inside out. And so I'll ask them to bring their water to see if maybe they're intolerant to their water,
Yes.
right?
Because
That's the
water's
second
another
session.
issue. That's another beast in a lot of people's homes. They're not realizing like the water quality that they have is not, up to par. It's not,
Yeah.
doing what it's supposed to do in terms of filtration, or you're over filtering your water and you're not having certain minerals that you need in there. So you have to put those
Yeah.
back into your body as well. So that in
Yeah.
itself is a different topic.
Yeah, it's difficult to I guess to visualize, but on my website you can see you can see my client a few clients that are having a session from the beginning to the end, and you'll
Hmm.
see like what I do with them through the session.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's incredible what your body is able to do and how it's able to heal itself.
Yeah.
um yeah, it's a lot of fun. I have to say, like, I can't express to you, I love my job.
Yeah.
I absolutely love my job. It's been it's such a pleasure meeting meeting everyone that that comes, and I miss them when they go, because obviously when they go and they don't come back, that means that they feel better.
Yeah, no, I know what you
Right,
mean by
so
that. That's almost like
yeah,
every practitioner's, feeling. They're
yeah,
loving the clients, the interaction, the conversations, and so forth. And then when they're
yeah,
like gone, you're like, oh, okay.
yeah,
But then it's just
and
like, I'm happy
their
I did my job,
referrals.
though. I did my job,
Yeah,
and you're good to go. I
yeah.
love that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And and their referrals are my best, are the greatest gifts, right? Like,
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. And I
yeah,
like what you said about that in terms of different practitioners working with each other, because that's really how it's supposed to be. And I feel
yeah,
like, in the early days, it wasn't like that. It was just
yeah,
solely between doctors and derms, and that ideally was pretty much it. And I
yeah,
feel like there's so much other practitioners and different modalities out there that I feel like a lot of doctors really should have a repertoire of saying, okay,
yeah,
hey, I know this is what the root is, and I know this is the issue. I'm going to refer you to this person to go have that taken care of. But I feel like they're only really doing that for like blood work,
yeah.
and scans.
Yeah, so what's nice, like, and then how you said, how am I different with for energy, for
Yes.
in the different, or so for I'm going to just talk about BIE because everybody is helpful in their own way.
Yes.
But what's amazing about BIE is, let's just say I'm working, there's a chiropractor who has a client who's so stiff and so acidic,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Like inflammation is technically acidity, right?
Yes. Yes.
I can help work with the acidic vials.
Yes.
I can help to make your body alkaline because
Yes.
essentially a beautiful, vitality, a beautiful body
Yes.
is alkalined,
Yes.
right? When you are feeling when you're having symptoms, if somebody has a chronic condition, something like cancer,
Hmm.
you need to be alkalined.
Yes. Yes.
Anything itis, think
Yes.
about bronchitis, tendinitis,
Hmm.
bursitis.
Hmm.
Itis
Yes.
means inflammation,
Yes. Yes.
right?
No, that's
So when
amazing.
you have inflammation, you have to address what's causing the inflammation.
Hmm.
I love the stories of clients like in so much pain. They'll wake up in the morning like they're 35 years old and they're coming out of bed and they're like
Yes.
like so uncomfortable.
If we're
And then all of a
swollen and
sudden
so forth.
they
Yeah.
yeah, and you learn how to eat. As simple as
Yeah.
as simple as a cup of soup a day,
Yes.
which will alkaline your body, which will help your hair, your nails, your skin. It
Hmm.
supports your joints. It heals your gut. That will heal your gut.
Yes.
As
And
simple as reducing or minimizing coffee, for example. It will help you in, not only will it change your adrenals,
hmm
it'll help you, it'll improve your sleep,
hmm
it'll reduce your anxiety, and it'll make you lose weight. Because
yeah.
coffee too much in excess is spiking your cortisol. What happens when you spike your cortisol? You gain
Yes.
weight,
Yeah. Oh,
right? A lot of people are coming and they'll say, can you help me lose weight? Yeah, we're gonna man we're gonna address your adrenals. We're gonna understand how to eat.
mhm.
It's not stressful. My recipes are delicious. Like, you have to also understand your ancestry, how your ancestors eat,
Yes.
right? So, you cannot give someone the same, if our grandparents came from a different continent, we have to eat the same way that our grandparents ate.
Hmm.
It's just, for me, that's how I feel.
Hmm.
um yes, there's vegetables, there's fruit, maybe they're vegetarians. Well, what kind of vegetables would you want them to eat,
Yeah.
right? You have to think about that.
Hmm.
um Talking to my grandparents, they didn't have meat every day,
I know, right? Isn't that kind of crazy when
right?
you think about like the way we've been portrayed to eat is not
Yeah,
the
like,
way we've ever eaten. And it's like,
no.
why do we eat this way now? And it's like, no,
Yeah.
your body doesn't need certain things every single day, especially when it comes to red meat, like, or meat in general. You don't have to have that on a daily basis. You switch it up, or you don't have any of it. And when you were saying about the soup, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I remember when I was in night school for chemistry, um,
Mm.
one of my students, or not my students, sorry, I remember that was part of my past. One of the students with me at that time, she goes, "Oh yeah, on the weekends we only have soup and vegetables." And I was like, "Really?" And she's like, yeah, no, we only have soup and vegetables. During the week, we will eat whatever we're eating, whether it's meats and so forth. But on the weekends, we only have soup and steamed vegetables or like
Mm.
greens. And I took that in one day. And the fact that I still remember this, like how many years later, like over 15
Yeah,
years later, I'm
yeah,
like, that's so true. So I even picked up the habit that all the time starting in the fall, I would always have soup. It'd be called soup season for me
yeah,
all the time. And it's weird because I kind of would slow down on having soups
yeah,
when it starts to get, like April and so forth, like now. But I would make it be my tradition, soup season all the time, whether it's every other
yeah,
day or the weekends, I
yeah,
was always having soup. So I completely agree with what you're talking about in terms of
yeah.
having soups because it does alter your pH level, but it's also all the other nutrients and minerals that are in
Oh.
there.
Yeah, I mean, and they are packed with protein as well, right? Like you can, it's, but it's also a complement. You could have your lunch and you can still have a cup of soup.
Yeah,
It could be hearty or it could be just the broth. And I don't think that you need to be so fancy. Like some people don't want bone
it's
broth,
true.
right? No, but like some people don't want bone broth, and I get it.
I
It's
love
it's a
bone
it's a
broth.
right? But you can do bone broth, you can do chicken soup, you can
Yeah,
have vegetable soup, you can
yeah,
do squash soup, you can do
yeah.
lentil soup. You know, I, you know, I'm going to say that I'm a busy bee. It's busy. It's
Yeah,
busy. My daughter still plays soccer. I've got intercourse with, at the clinic, and I still try to make my meals, every night for
me
dinner,
too. Me too. Yeah.
so my clients are in the same situation. And I'll
Mhm.
say, like, if your fridge is full
Yeah.
of colorful vegetables, if
Yeah.
your freezer is full of a variety of different meats or
Mhm.
fish, if your pantry is full of
Spices
nuts
and
and
everything.
seeds,
Yes.
not things in a box, nuts and
Thank
seeds.
you. Yeah.
There's nothing that you can't do. All you
Yeah.
got to do is take it out in the morning, let it thaw, and it literally takes a half an hour.
Yeah.
Or use your crock pot, use your
Right?
Instapot.
I'm
It's
like,
like I'm
who are the crock pot people at?
crock pot people. I love crock pots. But meal prepping, right? Like,
Yes.
maybe Friday night, maybe Saturday, maybe Sunday might be the day that you
Yeah.
can make a good, maybe like two or three salads that could last you about 3 days. And
Yeah.
it'll give you, but I know, okay, so sometimes my days are full. Like my Mondays are my late nights.
Hmm.
And I may not have time to do this.
Hmm.
But guess what? I've got my thermos of my soup,
Yes.
and before I go to work, I'll have my breakfast.
Hmm.
I might not be hungry, but maybe I'll have my morning brew in the morning. I'll go to work. So
Yeah.
I drop off the girls just before 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
They start school at 8:05, and I'm right across the street. The clinic's right across the street. I did it on purpose.
That's so
So I'm right
awesome.
across the street, and my first client is at 8:30. So I've got about 50, it takes me about 10 minutes to set up,
Hmm.
and then I've got 20 minutes before my client comes, and then
Hmm.
I'll have my breakfast because I'm definitely not ready to eat at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. No,
So
it's too much. Yeah.
yeah, I'll have my breakfast, and then if I have a break around 1 o'clock, then I'll have my soup if I want, or if I do have leftovers. I don't normally, but I'm actually quite fine with because my breakfast was enough, was a lot, was
Yeah.
satiating for me, because
Yeah.
you still need your carbs, your protein, and your fats, right?
Yeah.
That's what's gonna fuel you for the day.
Hmm.
And I love all of these doctors that are on these podcasts that are talking about how different it is to eat differently as a man and a woman. Finally,
Hmm.
we're talking about
So
that.
true.
you
Yeah.
know it's so important. Like, there's women that are coming in that are young, still in childbearing years, in their 20s,
Hmm.
in their 30s, and they have not yet had children, and they're doing this long fasting. Well, the fasting can actually disrupt your hormones and cause hair loss.
Yeah,
you
and
know
that's the thing. I love fasting. I'm all for it, but I think there's been a lot of stigma around it, and there's been a lot of people saying the wrong things about fasting. Fasting is not meant for you to sit there and do it just so that you can drop weight and you're already slim and so
Yeah.
forth. It's meant to really regulate a lot of different, concerns that you're having, but doing it the right way is the best way to do it. I find people are doing it in this haste of like, I need this goal, I need to do this, and they're not really understanding to read their body of when they should be doing fasting, because they shouldn't be doing it at their whole entire 30-day cycle. That's one thing for sure. And it's like I feel the industry when it comes to fasting is getting a bad rap, but it's like at the same time, I'm happy people are learning about it, but they need to
Yeah.
really understand how to do it, incorporate it with their
Yeah.
body, and what's the source of what they're doing, because I feel like people
Yeah.
are kind of abusing it now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I just, I think that we just really have to be careful with social media
Yeah.
and the information that's coming out.
Yeah.
If a doctor, whether it is an MD or an integrative doctor or a naturopathic doctor, if they're saying something, it's because they've gone to school. They know what they're supposed to be saying.
Mhm.
But if you have to really be careful.
Yeah.
It's very common. Maybe they say it to you too. I heard this, but I heard this, but I heard this.
Mhm.
Where are you hearing it from? Is
Yeah.
it from a book? Is it from a doctor? Like, where are
Yeah.
you hearing this
I know
information
when
from?
people are like, "Well, I saw
You
it
know?
online." Tell me where online you saw it. And they don't want to
Yeah.
say that it's
Yeah.
not on TikTok. I'm like, please don't tell me TikTok, because that is not a credible source. Okay,
Yeah,
please,
like
guys, get this
carbs,
together.
yeah, like you should have carbs. Carbs are good for you. Where are carbs
Exactly.
from? The real carbs are coming from fruits and vegetables.
Exactly.
That's fiber. That's fiber.
Yeah.
Fiber is the roughage that's going to clean your beautiful colon
Yes.
and clean out, and get out the gut, get out the toxins out of your system. And
Mhm.
when you do that, when it creates, when it gives you all that good flora in your gut, the pre and the po, and the probiotics, when it gives you all that good flora,
Mhm.
you bloom, right?
Yes.
Right? Think about you're blooming
Yeah. Yeah.
inside out,
I
right?
know. I
you are
know.
you are cleansing, you are blooming, you're beautiful, you are beautiful. It's what you eat
Mhm.
is how you feel,
Yes.
right?
When you were
Think.
talking about the bone broth, right? Are
Mhm.
you doing that from scratch, or
Yeah.
okay? Because I wanted to double check that, because I find a
Yes.
lot of people are going for the substance, like the powder supplements that are at Bulk Barn or whatever kind of grocery store, versus doing it from scratch by boiling their actual
so
meats.
so there are I mean, read, so part of the exercise when you come and see me is I actually want you to go on a date at the grocery store.
Yeah.
I do believe that you should be, more in the produce section, but I want you to read the labels.
Oh yes.
If you are busy, and
Yes.
rightfully so, and you can't make that soup,
Hmm.
read the labels of which broth is healthiest.
Yeah.
I had a client with eczema, poor thing, and she when she came so far and she did such a great job. She bought an organic bone broth.
Yes.
Well, that organic bone broth had gluten.
Oh, and it blows
Eczema
back up. Yeah.
and gluten do not get along,
Hmm.
right? And so she had a reaction. And so we looked at we looked at the
Ingredients.
ingredients. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is
Mm.
sugar and gluten doing
Yeah.
in an organic bone broth?
Yeah. I
So
know.
yeah,
I love
it's
squeezing sugar in everything. Like, it's
yeah,
always weird when I'm
yeah,
like, what is sugar doing in vitamin C? What are we doing in there? I don't
yeah,
understand. Like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
understand why they always have to like slide in the glucose, fructose, dextrose, maltodextrose. I'm just like, come
yeah.
on, guys, just get rid of the whole gang, okay?
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot. You have to, you got to read the ingredients, and like I said, the greatest gift that you can give yourself is making time for yourself
Yes.
and nurturing yourself with food,
Yeah.
and if food is medicine, it's not something new. It's been around for generations, hundreds of years, farm to table.
And it's
local farm
the
to table.
foundation, you know, I think a
Yeah.
lot of people that I get a little frustrated with when I see people talking about their eczema and TSW and so forth, but they don't want to make the commitment of just doing the basics when it comes to their food. They're just kind of like, I just want to get to the shortcut. I just want to get rid of this. And I understand it's frustrating. I've lived with it myself, but it's like, they don't realize that they have to make a dramatic change with their food intake. They have to do
Mhm.
it. And if they don't do
Yeah.
that dramatic, change with their food, they're not realizing like that they're not going to get on the path of healing if they don't get rid of the things that are obviously causing these issues.
And Makisha, what's the other thing that goes hand in hand?
Oh, there's skincare too.
What? Okay, and what's the other most important thing that goes hand in hand?
Mental health, their environment, those things are all part of it.
Yeah, their stress, right? Managing
Yes.
their stress, right? Getting sleep, just resting your body, right?
Yes.
And moving, right? So moving and getting your lymphatic system moving around, sweating.
Yes.
That is the easiest form of drainage.
Yes.
That is the easiest form of draining to get rid of those toxins because your skin is so large. It's
Yes.
the largest organ in your body. Sweating itself does wonders for you.
Mhm.
Getting your heart pumping, even, so like a rebounder, some of my clients, they can't move around too much,
Mhm.
even if you can afford a little mini trampoline, but
Yes.
just bouncing for 10 minutes. It's
Mhm.
like you're on the treadmill for half an hour.
Oh, that's amazing. Never even thought of that.
Right? So there's a lot of things that you can do, even if you can't be, if you don't have time, but just, even just sitting on your couch or like in between commercials, going back and forth, like especially with my clients who are a little bit older and can't move around too much or are scared to walk out now with the ice. I
Mhm.
get it,
Yeah.
right? And so I just say, like at the commercial, you got 3 minutes
Yeah.
from the couch to the front door, just do your walks,
Yeah.
you know,
You know,
do a couple of, it's doable. It's doable.
it's
You know,
crazy that, like I said, it's those little small nuances that we can take and do and try and use that a lot of times people are like, I think it's just not going to work. I didn't realize what helped my skin really heal, especially when my legs were a relapse a few weeks ago. And I'm like, oh no, we're not doing this, okay? We're going right back to healing and we're going to fix this, okay? I realized that I meditated almost 4 times in a day, almost like maybe even more than that. And it was just because I could feel this like PTSD kind of like accelerated nervous system kind of switch on for a second. I'm like, oh, no, we're
really.
not. No, we're not. Let's do some breath work and meditate. And I would do it for about 5 minutes of box breathing and really slowing down my heart rate. And my skin calmed down. And I was like, all right,
Yeah.
perfect. Let's keep going with my day. I
Yeah.
kept going. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden it did it again. I'm like, oh, right. No, we're
Yes.
not. Let's do this
Yeah.
again. So it's like
Yeah.
again those small little nuances I find it's a little bit hard for people. They are not willing sometimes, and that's why I have to call
Yeah.
out a lot of people when it comes to having eczema. Don't play the victim. You have the power. You do have the power to fix your skin and to fix the issues. You just have to get out of the rut or that moment of getting caught up in the emotion and just make a change. Like you said, go for a walk for 3 minutes on a commercial break. Do Tabata. Tabata you could do for 3 to 4 minutes to get your heart rate moving and your body sweating. And before you know it, you did a 30-minute workout in 4 minutes. Do tapping.
Yeah.
Tap on the meridians. Get that going. There's so many things that I feel like people, like I said, they can do, but sometimes they're not willing to do it. And it's just, yeah, it's kind of,
Eczema's
yeah,
eczema's such a visual
yeah,
condition,
yes, it is.
and it really does.
Tear down that
It
mental
really,
health.
yeah, it's, it's very, it can really bring you down.
Mm,
Um, I mean, you're very brave. Like I commend you. I think you're amazing for
thank
what you've
you.
created and how you inviting people, to talk about, and being aware and, being proactive. I think this is amazing what you're doing. This is great for the community. It's just, exactly what we talked about. I have good news and bad news. Your health is in your hands, and I
Mm.
have bad news. Your health is in your hands.
I love that
You
quote.
have
I'm
to
actually gonna
you
use
have to want to make these
it.
changes, right?
Yes.
I I had a client that came in last week, and she's a practitioner herself, and I think we all need to be taken care of,
Oh,
even as
absolutely. I do
practitioners.
agree with that. Yes.
Yeah, and she left and said, you know what? It's so nice for somebody to take care of me,
I know. I know what you mean. I
right?
being around a lot of people that are physicians and practitioners and so forth, I look at them and I'm like, girl, you need to go get a book yourself a session. You need to go and book
Yeah,
yourself a session.
yeah,
Man, female,
yeah.
whoever it is, whatever you identify, you need to go book yourself a session. And I didn't realize I didn't go for my regular massage therapy for a
Mhm.
while. And it's because, like you said, when you have eczema, you're like, no one needs to see me. I don't want no one seeing any part of me. And I was like, you know what, Mekisha, who said you don't have to do a full body? Maybe just do like the back. When she did, I swear I felt like things were coming out of me. It's like she
Yeah, you did it. It was a drainage. It's a massage therapy is a
yeah.
lymphatic drainage, right?
Yeah, and it's so
It's so good
true.
for you.
It's like
Yeah.
we need to be taken care of just as much as other people do, but people don't realize just someone coming and taking care of you, getting that extra advice, speaking to somebody, it makes a difference. It really does. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask you, and I'm quite sure that's probably what you're sipping on. Tell me about
Oh,
this morning brew. I heard about it, I
oh,
seen it, you launched it. It was
oh,
exciting to look at. And I didn't even meet you at that time. I didn't even know who you
no,
were at that time. I'm
no.
like, yes, yes,
Yeah.
Canada, let's go. So tell me about
Yeah.
it.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. So, okay, so when you're in school, you start
Mhm.
learning about all these, ingredients. I mean, listen, my parents were, born in Italy. Obviously, I grew up, with espresso and, but as
Yeah,
life goes on and you get a little bit busy,
yeah,
it's not good so much coffee for your adrenals
yeah.
in a
It's true,
fast-paced
it's
life,
true.
So, so my husband is a food innovator. He creates
Mhm.
products for a living. And so I would come home and I'd start kind of, I was making kind of potions. I was kind of tinkering with a whole
Yeah.
bunch of ingredients. And at the same time, having clients with eczema issues and
Mhm.
celiac issues and having gluten intolerances. If I needed them to have a pause or a vacation from coffee or
Mhm.
from caffeine,
Yes.
what would have been the substitute for them, for these poor things?
True.
And that includes
Yeah.
Bruno, that included me. Like, what could I have had that would give me a pause from coffee but still give me that nostalgic, that routine, that
Yeah.
ritual feeling, that look, that smell? Oh my gosh. Well, the alternatives that are out there actually have gluten.
Yes.
So my poor clients with eczema or
Mhm.
celiac conditions or gluten conditions, they couldn't have those coffee alternatives.
Mhm.
So my husband Bruno and I, we created Morning Brew thinking of people with gluten intolerances, with celiac, with eczema, and people like Bruno and I who cannot have too much caffeine
Mhm.
because we'll get all
Yeah.
crazy, can't sleep, heart's pounding, brrr, going a
Yeah.
little crazy. But what's fun about Morning Brew is that it manages the intake, like
Mhm.
how much you can have of caffeine, right?
Yes.
Because you can alternate it. So Morning Brew is a coffee alternative.
Mhm.
It's an instant herbal beverage. um, it's got 7 carefully chosen ingredients. So you've got chicory, you've got dandelion, you've got cacao,
I love all of
you've
those
got
ingredients.
cinnamon,
Oh,
you've
yeah.
got turmeric,
Mm.
cayenne pepper, and collagen.
I love all of that.
It's made here in Bolton, right? So I live in Vaughan, but it's made in Bolton,
Yes.
made here in Canada. Obviously, one of the founders is a woman. My husband, being a very, a senior food innovator.
Mm.
It's been a ride. So that was last Christmas, a year ago Christmas. We created Morning Brew, so to speak. And
Yeah.
because my husband is in the food business, he's familiar with quite a few suppliers. So we reached out. We reached out to them, and we went to the CHFA show in September.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, we found an amazing broker called Abundant by Design.
Mhm.
And we just recently collaborated with a distributor called Eco Trend.
Mhm.
So it's right now you're able to purchase it at some of the local clinics. So NACAN Integrative Clinic, Tri Health Wellness,
Mhm.
It's at Yoga Light. You can get it online, morningbrew.ca.
Mhm.
It's on Shopify, so it can get delivered directly to your door. But now that I have a distributor, it's going to be at retail stores across Canada, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I love it. You can have it, there's the cacao is literally 1 milligram of
Mhm.
caffeine.
You know what
So
I'm
it's
so
like,
excited about? Because I've always heard about, having cacao as your morning coffee instead. But again, people have it as ceremonial, teas and so forth. And I've never actually went as far to do it because again, me being in that whole energy healing area, there's so many layers to it, so many
yeah,
layers. And I've been always looking for better coffee. I cannot have the garbage that's in the grocery stores. I always look for something that's organic and so forth. But it's very true. Like French press it. I don't do that instant coffee or whatever. But I've always noticed, yeah, Mekisha, you can't have more than 2 cups. Yeah,
no.
because I
No,
will
or
start
past,
tripping.
past lunchtime. Like you might be intolerant to coffee too. Like there's, it's just, it's coffee has great benefits,
Oh,
but in excess
absolutely.
of
Yeah.
coffee can actually like, cause symptoms that
Yeah,
you
and
don't
that's what
need
I
in your
mean.
life,
Like,
right?
I've always been on that discovery of noticing that there's the good and the bad and the ugly when it comes to coffee. The good is that there is those benefits. There are those
Yeah,
things that are great for you when it comes to using it. The bad is when, you drink two because you're like, oh, I just want to have one more coffee. I'm in the mood for it. And then all of a
yeah,
sudden you start tripping. And then the bad
yes,
part is that if the quality of that coffee is, bad as well in terms of where it was sourced and so forth, then you get all these other damn symptoms that you're not looking for. So
yeah,
I'm actually really happy that you came up with this alternative and hearing what those ingredients are. I already consume all of them. It's just great that
yeah,
you put it together in such
yeah,
a beautiful way. I cannot wait
yeah.
to try it. I cannot wait to
Thank you so much. Thank you so
try
much.
it.
Yeah, no, there's no acidity, there's no cholesterol, there's no sugar.
Oh, love it.
It's incredible.
So do we
I'm very
brew it
proud.
or how do we consume it?
It's instant. So it's
Okay.
literally one teaspoon.
Yeah.
We like our heaping. So it's one heaping teaspoon in a cup of water.
Yes.
If you're gonna have like a larger mug, like
Yes.
if I were you, I would just maybe use a tablespoon.
Yes.
You can, like I said, you treat it like your coffee, right? You can add your milk if you want. If you want to add, a better sweetener. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
You can do that too. But you can. But what's so cool about it because it's instant.
Mhm.
You can actually have a cold morning brew.
Oh,
There's this
really?
whole kind of like, fad about
Yeah.
having like an ice drink, a nice coffee. You can
Yeah.
have a cold, an ice morning brew, which
Oh my
you
gosh,
can do exactly
love
the
it. I
same
don't know want to
thing,
hear
right?
anymore. Like
So
I'm already
I am on
ready to get this. I'm
yeah,
like, please,
I
please.
am on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. Yeah, when I see you, you're gonna get a bag. You're definitely gonna
I
get a
can't
bag, and I'll
wait
give you
to
some
try
samples
this.
to give to your clients. Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, we're back. We sold out twice. We
That's
sold
so
out
good.
twice since September. We're back in stock again. Yeah, I mean, if
Congrats.
maybe after
Congrats,
on
lovely.
this
I'm
you
so
can
happy.
share the link. But yeah, no, there's so much that you can put in your protein shake. You can bake with it. You can make protein balls out of it. But it's
True.
cool because it's not like even if you walk away for 5-10 minutes. Oh, I just spilled 5-10 minutes. You just have to, you have to just twirl it again. It's just the cacao that's
Yeah.
it. It'll dissolve again. That's what's so amazing, and
Yeah.
it smells. I wish you were here.
I'm like, I can't because you're not
It
there.
smells so good. You smell it. It smells so good.
I'm like, I literally tried to smell it. I'm like, Mekisha, you're not there. What are you
I
trying to
know.
smell? So,
It's just yeah, I'm very so again, I'm very proud. I have I had sample sachets that I
mhm.
would give to my clients when they would visit
Yeah,
because I'm like you. I'm or maybe I'm like the consumer that likes to taste it and try it
absolutely.
before I buy
Yeah.
it. So it's very affordable. Right now it's $25. There's no taxes on herbal teas.
Yes.
And so it's made here in Canada. I know that we're all very patriotic right now and very proud.
Yes.
The co-founder is female, but who would ever think that, you and I, right? Like
Yeah.
who would ever think that
Yeah.
we are doing what we're doing, loving what we're doing? It's just look, I get to meet you because I'm doing this,
Yeah.
it's just amazing. It's just I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us. Yeah,
No,
it's
I'm
just,
proud.
it's a
No, I'm
wellness journey,
happy.
you know?
And that's it. That's what it's all about, right? Is getting
Yeah.
better foods out there. And that's what we were talking about earlier. And what better way to get better food from someone that is a holistic nutritionist? You know,
Yeah.
it's the thing that gets me annoyed is when it's from people that don't have the right intentions. It's great
Yeah.
from people that live and practice what they, are passionate about, and then they have those products that go along with it. And that's exactly
Yeah.
the reason why I have Everbella, because I realize that there's nothing else better. There's nothing else
Yeah.
better out there. There are better
Yeah.
things, but at
Yeah.
the time when I needed better, there wasn't better, and that's what stirred me to make what I was
Yeah.
making. So,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I have a closing tradition for my podcast, and it's just a couple
Okay.
of questions just to ask you, which I ask all of my guests. So,
Sure.
my question to you is, what is your definition of self care?
Oh, my definition of self-care.
Or what is self care to you?
So, I have many hats. I have many roles. So, my definition of self-care is first taking care of Lisa, is eating well, moving, sleeping well,
Mhm.
and being grateful for each and every day. That's self-care and joy. Oh boy. So that's important. I'll always ask my clients, like, where's your joy? So, joy for me is, being in great company, is eating great food, having the sun, shine on my shoulders,
Mhm.
getting fresh air. That's important. So
And
that's Lisa's self-care.
I love that
That's
because
Lisa's.
you literally answered that second question that I have is, what do you do for your self care? So I'm going to turn it up a notch and ask you, what is something that you have to be doing for your self care? And do you do it weekly? Do you do it monthly? Do you do it like how often?
Oh, wow. What do I have to do for self-care? I don't, yeah, so time is of the essence and it has to be very strategically organized.
Hmm.
Um, I really look forward to my time after dinner where it's it's quiet. I love the morning.
Hmm.
I like to wake up early in the morning because we go to bed early at night for bed. So I love coming down. Meditation prayer is really actually what I do when I wake up. I have my gratitude book. I go out, even if it's freezing, I just open up the front door and I take in, three beautiful breaths and I give thanks, for another day, for however the day is. And so that's my first kind of like self-care. It's just like kind of
Good.
just time for me before everybody wakes up. Not everybody, the world. Like before the world wakes up,
Boom.
I need time for Lisa, with a cup of morning brew. And whether I'm praying, I pray first, and then I read first, and then I journal,
Hmm.
and then I have time with my husband before my children wake up, and then I start the day.
That's great.
So
That is
yeah,
great. And I
yeah,
always find it interesting to hear what everyone's different self-care is, what they like to do for their self-care. And I like yours. It's that ritual of how you wake up in the morning, that ritual of how you go to sleep at night, what you like to do when you
yeah,
come home, and that's it's important because the way you start your day defines the momentum of your day. And
yeah,
when you are waking up in that kind of way and having that time for yourself, it's sacred, and a lot of people don't realize how sacred those
yeah,
moments are.
yeah.
This whole get up, check your phone, and then get straight to whatever you're doing, that's the definition of stress. And doing it in the way that you're doing it, it's very similar to my own. And I've never taken advantage of it. I've always like, no, we got to take time. I can't wait to just start grounding myself when the grass is a little bit more warmer. But
But you
that's
don't even have to
important.
wait.
Pardon?
You don't even have to wait. Like, like
Yeah.
it'll just take a couple seconds. Just go outside on the back porch, even if it's cold.
That's
you know?
true. It's true. Yeah.
Just go outside. That's what I tell my, because it'll put you in parasympathetic mode immediately.
Yes. Yes.
Immediately.
Yes.
Even if there's snow or if it's raining, like just go outside. Like, just go outside. Stay by
Mhm.
the window.
Yes.
Just it'll ground you. It'll ground you so fast.
Yes.
It'll just put things into perspective so fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's just, and even the words that you're saying,
Hmm. Power.
remember that your body is listening.
Yeah.
What you say, what you think, your body's listening. And if you say the right words,
Hmm.
your body will change, right?
Yeah.
Your mood will change, your whole terrain will change.
Yeah.
I
That's
am
on point with
strong,
that. It's
I am
all energy,
loved.
and our words
Yeah, I
have
am healthy.
vibration.
Yeah, I am successful. I am enough.
Yeah.
I am busy. You know, anything that you want to say, my skin is perfect.
Yeah.
Your body's listening,
Yeah.
right? Your
It is.
body is always listening.
It is. Oh, thank you so much, Lisa, for coming on today. It was a pleasure. And what I
Pleasure.
loved is that we got to talk a lot about your different modalities in terms of your nutrition and the things that you do with your clients. And it seems so generous. It's very
Thank you.
humbling.
Thank you.
It's authentic. It's integrity driven. And that's what we need in the industry. And I'm so happy that we had this conversation and got to know you a little bit more, because I feel like the more people like you doing the work that you're doing, the more healed people we're going to have walking around. And
Thank
that's
you.
what we need. We need more people
Thank you.
healed versus walk around in sickness and dis-ease when we need them to be at ease. And I feel so at ease talking to you today.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you.
can't wait to visit you and get that more
I can't
results.
wait. I'm looking forward to meeting you. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I cannot wait, and I'm giving you a big hug
Thank
because it's
you.
been a pleasure. I
Thank
can't wait
you.
to hug you in person. But no, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I think your audience is very lucky to have this platform to listen to and learn from you. And
Thank you.
congratulations on your products, and you're going to be amazing. You are amazing already, and
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. And really quickly tell our viewers where they can find you or what website. It is going to be in the description box below, but I definitely would love for you
Yes.
to go ahead and give that shout out.
Yeah, so it was a pleasure. Reach out if you are looking for uh, wellness. It's innerforcewellness at gmail.com. If you're interested in Morning Brew, it's morningbrew.ca. Yeah, reach out. I'm on Instagram, innerforce.wellness. I'm on also on TikTok for Morning Brew, morning.brew. Reach out anytime. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have or DM me.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you so much, Mekisha.
No problem. And thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Skin Deep podcast. Again, this has been sponsored by Everbella. You are welcome to check out everbella.ca for all of your skincare needs. Until next time, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in to the Skin Deep podcast. Don't forget to download your free guide to our 10 hacks to great skin. Just check the link in our bio. I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Have an amazing day, everyone, and enjoy your self-care Sunday.